I wasn't expecting to make a part 2 of my top 10 Mario Misconceptions video, but since that video did really well, let's talk about 10 more Mario Misconceptions, so let's make this quick and get on with the topics. Number 1. Donkey Kong's name origin. In my last list, I talked about the misconceptions surrounding the name Jumpman, an essentially placeholder name for Mario used on the instructions for Donkey Kong's US arcade cabinet. But now, we're going to be talking about Donkey Kong's name origin, because there's so much misinformation out there. There was once a popular myth that the name Donkey Kong was a mistranslation of Monkey Kong, which makes no sense since monkey and donkey don't mean the same in Japanese. And another rumor about the name Donkey being used to avoid copyright with King Kong. Even Shigeru Miyamoto himself, oddly enough, has once claimed multiple times in interviews that he found the name through a Japanese-English dictionary while he was looking for the word stupid. Well, originally the working title during development was called Table Kong Game, but looking at the various name ideas for their new Kong game, manager Shinichi Todori eventually chose the name Donkey Kong for both the game and character by the end of 1981. To learn more about the history of Donkey Kong's name, I highly recommend you go watch Gaming Historians' amazing video on how the Mario characters got their names. Number 2. Mario hits blocks with his head. Even though the Mario is a terrible guy trope is my most hated and most overused trope in Mario parodies, another common trope I'm so tired of seeing in Mario parodies is when the character hits a block with his head. How It Should Have Ended did this, Pete Holmes did this, even Studio C did this. And I'm sure there's other examples I didn't even mention. This trope pretty much proves that some people who parody the Mario games don't truly understand Mario all that much. Though considering the parodies are supposed to deliberately exaggerate for the sake of comedy, I could kinda get the implication. But when parodies start to oversaturate the truth, that's when it gets on my nerves. In every Mario game, whenever the characters are jumping, their fists are always in the air. It's super obvious they're hitting the blocks with their fists. Sure, if they happen to be riding on Yoshi or they got their hands full, they will hit the blocks with their heads, but that's about it. The moral of the story is not to take parody at face value. They just want to satire and over-exaggerate the characters in mostly good fun. Number 3. Toad's Hat. This misconception originated from the very first episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, more specifically the Super Mario Bros. Cartoon, The Bird. In one scene, the Mama Birdo drops Toad thinking he could fly. Toad eventually drops safely by using his mushroom cap as a parachute. The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 episode Tag Team Trouble features another instance of Toad taking off his mushroom cap. Because of those two examples, many jump to the conclusion that the Toad's mushroom caps are some type of hat that they wear on their head. Honestly, I don't blame anyone for thinking that. Heck, I'd argue it makes for a fun headcanon. While yes, Super Show and Adventures of 3 are officially licensed Mario media, it doesn't mean that these two shows are canon to the mainline Mario games. The Deke Mario shows are sort of their own thing. In February 2018, sometime after the release of Super Mario Odyssey, the game's producer, Yoshiaki Koizumi, confirmed that the Toad's mushroom caps are not their hats. They are part of their head shape. So yeah, Toad's mushroom cap is not a hat. I know Mario Party The Top 100 had a quote of Toad saying something about wanting to tip his hat, but I'm sure that was most likely a localization error on Nintendo of America's part. Number 4. Peach was originally a toad. Shortly after Super Mario Bros. Released on the Famicom, a strategy book called How to Win at Super Mario Bros. Featured unique illustrations. One of them features Peach with a mushroom cap on. Many believe that Peach was originally going to resemble the Toads during the game's development, since many mistook the book's illustrations for concept art. This misconception saw a resurgence after Peachette, a power-up exclusive for Toadette in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, was introduced. Gaming news sites used these illustrations to theorize the connection between Peach and Toadette. In actuality, the illustrations in this book were not made by anyone at Nintendo, and was most likely drawn based on vague descriptions given to the illustrator, so no, Peach was never planned to be a Toad in the first place. Number 5. Super Mario FX. There's a famous rumor that Super Mario 64 started off as a Super Nintendo game that would have used the Super FX chip, called Super Mario FX. The earliest sources for this claim came from various video game forum sites and IGN. It's likely IGN misinterpreted something Miyamoto said in the January 1996 interview of Nintendo Power. There, he said he had the idea for a 3D Mario game while he was working on Star Fox. Because of the mention of Star Fox, a Super Nintendo game that used the Super FX chip, many misinterpreted it as Miyamoto wanting to make a Mario game with the same technology. First off, Miyamoto never specified what console the new 3D Mario idea was going to be on in that interview. Not only that, but this misconception would have suggested that he was developing a Super Nintendo game years after the Nintendo 64 hardware began development, especially since the Nintendo 64, then known as its codename Project Reality, was announced in August of 1993, almost half a year after Star Fox released. The final nail in the coffin would be in an interview with Dylan Cuthbert, who was both the designer of the Super FX chip and the lead designer on Star Fox. In said interview, he debunked the rumors of a 3D Super Nintendo Mario game ever existing, and that Super Mario FX was not the name of a 3D SNES Mario game, but rather a code name for the chip itself. Number 6. Why the expansion pack is required for Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is a 3D platformer for the Nintendo 64. One thing that makes it unique is the fact that it's the only of the 2 games to require the Nintendo 64 expansion pack. Why is that? On May 28, 2013, a former Rare employee by the name of Chris Marlowe uploaded a Let's Play video on Conker's Bad Fur Day. During the video, he shared an amusing anecdote claiming that the reason why Donkey Kong 64 uses the expansion pack was to get rid of a memory leak that occurred during playthrough. They couldn't figure out what happened, they were unable to fix it, and had to bundle the game with the expansion pack. This story went viral and was proven as fact for a good while. However, it wasn't until Mark Stevenson, a developer on Donkey Kong 64, was interviewed in 2019, denying Chris's claim. According to Mark, Rare's management wanted the developers to use the expansion pack early on in development so it could accommodate advanced graphical effects, such as dynamic lighting. He also added that while there was a game-breaking bug during development, it only really affected one hardware revision, and that it was already fixed before release. He speculated that Chris might have gotten the 2 stories mixed up and conflated into one. So in reality, Donkey Kong 64 was always developed to use the expansion pack in mind, and that a game-breaking bug, let alone a memory leak, had nothing to do with it. Number 7. Waluigi's real name is Jimmy Poppadopolos. This one is a less common misconception, but rather a pretty stupid one, as the story behind this rumor is pretty much about some guy straight up lying on the internet.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Apparently some Twitter user made a post on July 20th, 2020, that he found an interesting read-up about Waluigi in a September 2000 issue of Nintendo Power. Epic Friendship Origins. What's the deal with Wario and Waluigi anyway? That's what we wanted to know over here at NP Investigations. So we sent our hounds to sniff out the story of the century. We don't think you will be disappointed one bit. Whenever Wario would be invited to Mario's lame parties or tennis tournaments, he would always feel left out of the fun. Mario had a brother Luigi he could team up with, but Wario was born an only child. He got all the attention as a child, which was awesome and totally great for him growing up, but now he didn't have a double tennis partner. So embarrassing. Yoshi laughed at him in front of everyone. Wah. Wario wouldn't be embarrassed ever again. He went online for an actor for hire site, and lo and behold, there he was, Jimmy Poppadopolos. Or maybe you might recognize him by his legally and permanently changed name ever since 1999, Waluigi. Wario hired him for freelance for the tennis tourney. The rest is history. Or is it? Let's just say their partnership had some rocky beginnings, but rumors say that it blossomed into a great friendship, and maybe even a romance? According to our NP investigation sources, ever since the release of Mario Kart Double Dash, they parted ways physically, but still have a mutual respect for each other. Waluigi is grateful for all the opportunities that Wario has given him. Looking at this supposed screenshot right away, you can tell something's off. This blurb allegedly came from the September 2000 issue, yet Mario Kart Double Dash wasn't released until 2003. Not only that, but the render of Wario and Waluigi isn't even from Mario Tennis 64, but rather 2005's Mario Party 7. I'm not sure what was on the OP's mind when he made that post. I'm sure he probably did this as a joke, but if so, what was the joke exactly? I don't get it.
I just don't get that.
This is what the actual read-up from the September 2000 issue looks like, which did have a read-up about Waluigi, but doesn't say anything about his real name being Jimmy Poppadopolos or anything like that. This rumor is one of the many instances of how lies can easily be spread on the internet without second thought. And just for fun, I'll read the actual blurb from that issue. Mamma mia, it's Waluigi. He's lean, he's mean, he hates the color green. Yes, with hopes of finally overthrowing Mario's supreme reign as the video game king, Wario has enlisted the help of Waluigi. The big fella with a nasty smirk and a burning hatred of good old Luigi finally shows up his ugly mug in Mario Tennis. And to mark this momentum occasion, we're giving the purple one his very own website. You could check out www.waluigi.com for all your evil psychic needs, photos, secret information, and all the wacky hijinks you could ever desire. We're looking to have online games too, including the Waluigi's Toenail Clipping Party. It seems that everyone's his favorite mustachioed mischief maker has let his personal grooming go, and it's up to you to help him. Clip those nails good, and be sure to aim for the jar, or you'll be left with ragged clippings and toenail jam all over your hard drive. Ew! Number 8. the voice of Mario in the Gottlieb pinballs. I don't remember where this information originally came from, but I remember hearing somewhere on Twitter and in a digital gaming video that Charles Martinet voiced Mario in the Mario pinball machines that Gottlieb released. For those who don't know, Charles Martinet is the longtime voice actor for Mario who started voicing the character at trade shows in 1991 via Mario in Real Time. And while Super Mario 64 was the first Nintendo-produced game to feature him as the voice of Mario, the 1995 PC games, Mario's Game Gallery for the MS-DOS, and the CD-ROM port of Mario Teaches Typing were the first overall games to star Charles as Mario. However, some people have said that Charles Martinet voiced Mario even earlier in those two pinball arcade games, Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. Mushroom World from 1992. I couldn't find any evidence since Charles has never acknowledged his role in any of those games. Not only that, but the Mario voice we hear in the game sounds different from the voice that Charles used when he auditioned for the character in 1990, which is no different from what he sounds today. Special thanks to AndratVO for making me aware of this new piece of information, as we finally know the person who voiced Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Pinball games. Andrat got in touch with Dave Zabriskie, the composer of the two Mario pinball games, and asked about the identity of the voice actor in those games, to which he revealed the person who actually voiced Mario in the Gottlieb pinball games was none other than Craig Brawley. So yeah, it's official. We now know from the composer himself that Charles Martinet did not voice Mario in the Gottlieb pinball games, but rather it was Craig Brawley who did the voice. Number 9. Piracy is no party. YouTube user Joey Paleoni uploaded an infamous video titled Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy Screen. Basically, the video was all about a piracy detection found in Mario Party DS. In that video, a minigame was being played until an error screen showed up. The bottom screen features a still from the opening cutscene featuring the good guys being locked up, while the top screen has the Nintendo and Hudson Soft logo in the background, with the tagline, "Piracy is no party," all while weird, somewhat creepy sounding music is being played. Joey would later upload an extended version of that music. The original video got a lot of attention from Mario fans, and because of how vague the video was, people questioned whether or not the anti-piracy screen was real or not. It got so bad that the unused content wiki, the cutting room floor, had to protect its Mario Party DS article due to vandalism surrounding the hoax. There had never been any other recollections of this scene from the decade between the game's release and the time this video was released. Keep in mind, emulation and piracy have become more popular over the years, and uploading gameplay footage to YouTube became easier. Additionally, there is no evidence in the game's files that any anti-piracy screen measure exists in Mario Party DS. You see, some people like to make up things either for clout or as a joke. We saw the example of the Twitter user in the fake Nintendo Power screenshot earlier in the video. This is the internet we're talking about. Anyone can make up fake information and people will automatically believe you without second thought. A lot of the Mario misconceptions we look at tend to come from people either misremembering or stretching the truth, and it becomes impossible to know what's real and what's fake because of how these misconceptions can easily overshadow the truth. This crap happens even in official media and documentaries, which is why I even make these videos in the first place. After the original video went viral, not only did more people start making fake anti-piracy screens for other video games, but Joey himself started making sequels to his videos, with each one being more and more exaggerated, probably so it would be more obvious to tell that they're fan-made. Whether it's the characters accusing you for being a criminal, having the game call the police on you, and there's even a live-action skit of Joey being arrested by a police officer for pirating the game. You could definitely tell these videos were made in good fun. And finally, number 10. Mario and Luigi's last name. What are their last names anyway? This has been heavily debated amongst fans. A lot of people believe that the whole Mario surname originated from the live-action movie Super Mario Bros. From 1993. But that's actually not true, because there were 2 episodes of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, Dance and Treasure of the Sierra Brooklyn. In those 2 live-action segments, Luigi referred to himself as Luigi Mario, meaning that the 1993 film did not invent the Mario surname. Though I doubt Deke was the one who came up with the surname either. Here's a simple and reasonable explanation. Mario and Luigi are often called the Mario Brothers. Usually the name before siblings is often a last name, so maybe their last name is simply just Mario. Mario, and Luigi Mario. This wasn't confirmed for a while, at least not in any first-party capacity. There was a Mario Party 2 guide from Prima Games that allegedly used the last name, albeit I can't find any evidence. A promotional flyer for a compilation arcade cabinet featuring Donkey Kong Jr., and Mario Brothers also used the Mario surname. And at San Diego Comic-Con in 2012, Mario in Real Time was there, and in that video, Mario himself, voiced by Charles Martinet, confirmed that his last name is indeed Mario. And while Shigeru Miyamoto has once said in the past that the brothers don't have a last name, He would later contradict his claim in 2015 at the Super Mario Bros. 30th Anniversary Festival in Shibuya, confirming once and for all that Mario and Luigi's full names are Mario Mario and Luigi Mario. They're the Mario Brothers after all. And that's the end of the video. Let me know if you had believed any of these rumors, and hopefully, like the last one, this video will spread more awareness to these misconceptions in hopes that no one will ever make the same mistakes that countless researchers and YouTubers have. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and if you are subscribed, make sure to ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any videos that I produce. I'll see you real soon. Same Mario time, same Mario channel.